Good morning, everyone. We're going to get ready to get started. Professor Charles is coming to provide our welcome. Yes, wherever you want to be. Tyrone, can you? Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you all for being here so early. Thank you all for being here with smiles and great expectations. I'm excited for our guest speaker who has come to provide a wonderful talk, Dr. Stanford. Professor Charles is coming to provide our welcome. Thank you. Housekeeping. If you have not done so already, please silence your phones. Take a look at your phones. Let's not have anybody going off, because they didn't take a moment to just look. Bathrooms are right outside this door to your right and a quick left. All right? Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Is this on? How's everybody doing? Good? Looked like you had fun last night. I looked at Instagram this morning, so I'm glad that everybody is settling in and having a good time. And I guess you got to meet your faculty this morning, is that right? Okay. So I want to welcome you all again. I met you all yesterday, but it's really nice to see you here today and know that things are really sort of ramping up, and that you'll get started with all of the great stuff we have for you this week. I appreciate that everybody was on time, and I don't even see anybody missing a name tag, so that's awesome. So again, what we do here is about both community and academics, and really that is what college ought to be about. And hopefully you were really inspired by the words of your faculty this morning. We have, I think, some of the most amazing faculty in the university, both in terms of the research that they do, but also in terms of the human beings that they are and the care and commitment that they have to the students. That's something that I think all of us have to some degree, but I would argue that Africana is a place where we sort of take that to the next level in terms of both the academic and the non-academic support that we try to provide to our students in helping them to achieve their biggest goals and dreams, and even helping them to identify those goals and dreams when you're not sure about what you want to do. So it's always really exciting for me to get to introduce you to my colleagues, because I really think that they are outstanding. And with that, I'm going to reintroduce a member of the Center for Africana Studies family, and that is Kelly Harris, who will welcome you on behalf of the center. So we're a little bit confusing because we have a Department of Africana Studies and a Center for Africana Studies. The Institute lives in the center because the center serves the entire university. The department works as any academic department does, but we work very closely together on programming and academic content. And so you should really look at us as partners. We share the same space at 3401 Walnut Street. And so again, we are one big happy family. Kelly Harris, the Senior Staff Director for the Center for Africana Studies.
Thank you. They don't make these for people my height, generally. Good morning. It is thank you, Tyrone. It is my honor to stand in for our director, Dr. Wally Adebonwi, and welcome you and your families and faculty and staff to our 2025 Africana Summer Institute. And for a second, because I see other staff here as well, could the staff at the University of Penn please stand and just wave to the students and let you know this here, please? Now, we are very excited that you are here, and we are very excited to play a significant role in introducing you to Penn and to your next 4 or 5 years of your college experience that will really help lay the foundation for the rest of your life, both professionally and personally. So we're excited about that. Our faculty is eager to meet with you. They already met with you. Our faculty is eager to engage you and really in trying to wrestle with the histories, ideas, and voices that have been either omitted, distorted, or undermined throughout history. And that's a very important part of Africana Studies, as I mentioned yesterday, not only wrestling with the past, but understanding how the past shapes the present and how you can help shape the future. So please understand that we're here to support you and help you to be seen and heard in your life. And also understand that we're here to reinforce that you belong here. And we want you to understand that and know that. And finally, I just want to end with a word from the late, great Benjamin Elijah Mays, who was a former president of Morehouse College. He was a mentor to Dr. King and so many other great leaders. Matter of fact, Benjamin Mays was a minister, a theologian, one of the unheralded architects of the civil rights movement. And he used to have a poem that he wrote that he would say to Morehouse students, incoming Morehouse students. And the poem is called, I Have Only Just a Minute. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, didn't choose it, didn't suffer, forced upon me, didn't choose it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. It's just a tiny little minute, but an eternity is in it. So I want you all to please remember that as you start your college journey. You're only here for a minute, but it can last for an eternity. Thank you.
You all will learn very quickly that Ms. Tia is in charge. So Ms. Tia has our instructions for getting up to eat, and it goes by our table so that there won't be a stampede. And the one thing I will say, we always have good food. So you're going to want to be on our distribution list for events and things like that, because if there is food there, it's really good food. And we try to make sure that everybody eats. Okay, so Ms. Tia is going to give us our marching instructions.
All right, everybody, do me a favor, grab both of your plates. You can leave your cutlery at the table. And we're going to take tables in groups of 2. And if you move expeditiously, I might be able to take groups of 3. Okay, we have mirrored stations. Mrs. C's Soul Delicious and Sweets, I believe, is doing our catering today. So give them a shout out. They're a new caterer for us, and I think you'll be really happy. So table 1 and table 7. Will you use this aisle? Go out that way, come through the center. Miss Audra will direct you if you need help. Table 1 and table 7. 2 tables. If I can have your attention, we're going to get started. Thank you so much. Professor Camille Charles is coming. Can she have your attention, please? Thank you.
I wish my children got quiet like that. Okay. Oops. I hope everybody enjoyed lunch. Thank you. Okay, so it is my pleasure. The dean of the college, Dr. Peter Struck, had a family emergency and couldn't be here today. And so it is my pleasure to introduce in his stead Molly McGlone. Her tenure at Penn's College of Arts and Sciences began as Assistant Dean for Academic Advising and as a faculty fellow in Fisher Hassenfeld College House. Dr. McGlone was named Associate Director and Assistant Dean for Academic Affairs in 2017 and was promoted to Associate Dean and Director of Academic Affairs in 2021. She is here to offer a welcome on behalf of the School of Arts and Sciences, so it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Molly McGlone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Charles. Yes, and Peter sends his regrets, really wishes Dean Struck that he could be here. So I just want to first say thank you so much to Dr. Charles and Ms. Tay Campbell and all of the wonderful people that put together this week. It's such a special time. And I want to thank the faculty who have agreed to come help and really promote this program over the last 39 years. It's just such a pleasure to see community being formed, and it really lasts throughout the year. And I want to thank the students for taking the time to join us for this very, very special week. The faculty that help put on this program really are, the faculty who really put on this program really are the core of our faculty who are creative, they are thoughtful, they are analytic, and really the work that they do both in the research and in their teaching has transformed Penn over the years. And I think it's it's a real gift to you and to all of us in our community to have this week for the students and the faculty to get to know one another before classes start. And I can see it, and I can see the benefits of it even in my own teaching. So I get to teach a first-year seminar called Music in Urban Spaces. And 2 years ago, I had 3 students who participated in Africana who ended up being able to join me in the class. Yep, maybe you can hear. Is that all right? Okay. So I had 3 students who participated in Africana, and it was just really clear from the beginning. They had a bond. They were able to be creative thinkers in class. They were able to be brave and to say things that might challenge some of their peers when they needed to. And they really had an analytic skill that they already brought with them. I remember them bringing up examples from Dr. Henry's work here in the Africana Institute about Janelle Monáe's In the Age of Pleasure album. And it was just they could call on the things that they had been thinking about and bring them in reference. So I just really hope that you get to have this very same experience of engaging with your Africana faculty now and taking that learning with you into the rest of your time here. And I know that we will all benefit. Every class you take outside of that will also have those wonderful, analytic skills and creative thinking brought back to them. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate all the time that you are taking to be here, and welcome. See, I had to put my glasses on because Dr. Stanford's bio is on my phone, and I am old and cannot see. Okay, so it is now my honor to introduce our faculty book talk. This is something that we do every year for the Opening Luncheon in the Institute. And one thing that I didn't say when I talked about the synergism between the center and the department is that the academic department has a small but amazing faculty, but through the Center for Africana Studies, we engage with faculty across the 12 schools in the university, or at least 10 of them. I think that we don't have anybody from the vet school and we don't have anybody from the dental school, but pretty much every other school on campus is represented among center faculty affiliates, and Dr. Stanford is one of those. Ayla Stanford is a pediatric surgeon, founder of the Black Doctors Consortium and a national leader in health equity, a healthcare policy advisor and former regional director of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services of the Mid-Atlantic appointed by President Biden. Dr. Stanford is a professor at the University of Pennsylvania in the School of Arts and Sciences with additional appointments in the Perelman School of Medicine and Annenberg School for Communication. A practicing physician for over 20 years and founder of R.E.A.L, Concierge Medicine. Dr. Stanford is board certified by the American Board of Surgery in both pediatric and adult general surgery. She's a medical and health correspondent for national media outlets as well. Dr. Stanford gained international recognition during the COVID-19 pandemic using the infrastructure of her pediatric surgery practice
to create a grassroots organization focused on education, testing, contact tracing, and vaccination in communities lacking access to care and resources. She and her team provided dire care for hundreds of thousands and countless others nationwide through her messaging. She subsequently opened a multidisciplinary ambulatory care center bearing her name in a neighborhood in Philadelphia with one of the lowest life expectancies in the city. Dr. Stanford has received many awards and honors, including a top 10 CNN hero, one of Fortune magazine's World's 50 Greatest Leaders, and one of Forbes' Most Influential Women. She has also received the American College of Surgeons 2023 Domestic Surgical Volunteerism Award and the George H.W. Bush Points of Light Award. She was selected as 2024 Distinguished Alumni from the Pennsylvania State University, and the City of Philadelphia commissioned a street in her name. She lives in the suburbs of Philadelphia with her husband and children. I have her to thank for my first COVID test during the pandemic. So it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. R.E.A.L. Stanford.
Righty. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I have to say I'm a little bit of a walker. Tyrone, can I take this down to it? Okay. Let's see. And I'm going down. All right, so I'm also a rule follower. I was told 25 minutes. In 25 minutes, it will be 12:48, 12. So I'm going to start out. The first person who spoke with you said, "You belong here." We did not plan that. Doctor right there, we did not plan that. But it couldn't be more true. This is actually this year's commencement. And as faculty, I was part of the marching and so forth. And it was so beautiful to see the faces of folks who have been here 4 years and 5 years, to feel the excitement, to see the looks on their parents and loved ones' faces. That's Glenn Bryan, who some of you may meet in your time here, who is very engaged in bringing the community into Penn and Penn into the community, one of the people that I met when I first started. And the flags up on my, I guess, right or left, depending on where you are just denoting the different colleges as you go into Franklin Field. And I guess I just wanted to start in my time with you, just 13 or 11 things that I want to share. And one is that you belong. Everyone's journey was different to get here. Some of you have 2 parents who were doctors. Some of you, no one in your family has ever been a doctor. Some of you literally came from another country or across the pond and have had many careers before you ended up here, ready to embark on the next thing. But what I will say to you is that the people in this room are excited for you, that we believe in the possibility of you and what you will do next. And that you should never be fearful to call on us. And when you call us the first time and you don't get us, call again. It does not mean that we're not interested. It just may mean that we were busy in the moment. And I want you to take in and feel this space and feel this room, because throughout your time here, you may feel alone. And you may feel like you don't belong. And you may feel like you are the only one. But know that you are so destined for greatness. And this is only the beginning and the first chapter, and many more chapters to come in your life. So, that is me. See, I got my dashiki on it too. But in any case, and I put that from underdog to Ivy. And again, my journey may not resonate with all of you. Some of your journeys are different. But I'll share mine in that I was born and raised in Philadelphia. And for some of you who know the area, I was raised in North Philadelphia. My parents were young but college bound. We were the kids, my brother and I, on public assistance, living in Section 8 housing. Sometimes we had heat, sometimes we didn't. Sometimes we had food, sometimes we didn't. And I heard from Professor Charles, who all read the book, but it was not uncommon for us to iron sheets in the wintertime, and we would take turns because whoever ironed, you know, the other person would jump in and they would stay warmer longer before that heat would dissipate. And my brother and I are ridiculously close because of some of those challenges that we had coming up. The funny thing about that is you never know you're poor, or you never know what you don't have until somebody tells you, right? Because we were happy, go lucky, poor as can be, until somebody was like, wow, you got those broke sneakers on, you know? And prior to that, or even going to the grocery store with food stamps, you didn't know there was something wrong with that until somebody said, oh, y'all got food stamps, and then it was like, what was that? You know, we got our clothes at the thrift store. That's what my mother could afford. And so I say that now as I'm standing here, and I went to Penn State undergrad. I did not go to the University of Pennsylvania. So you all, in my eyes, are like, wow, right? And so I say that because most people would not expect that a child that grew up in an underserved community, to young parents who did not have an Ivy pedigree, who certainly were not making six figures, would have expected that I may have been a teenage mom, that I may have been incarcerated, that I may have been working at I can't even think of the word right now, but a low-paying wage job, but not that I would be a pediatric surgeon, double boarded, and have saved thousands directly, hundreds of thousands, and even more with my reach. And so the point of that is where you start is not necessarily where you finish. And the other thing I would say is I went to medical school with a really large group of very smart and very rich people who dropped out. So I say that to say that whether you succeed or not really has to do with your internal belief and your perseverance in yourself and in your tribe of people around you. And for many of us, our faith. And for me, my faith is strong. And so even in those times where I felt like I don't look like anybody else in this room, that's what kept me going. And moments like this, to remember that those folks in that room believed in what I was capable of. So why did I write this book? And this cover is different than the book you guys read, because this is the paperback, which I'll just put a plug in. Comes out next month. Comes out next month. And so if you order it now, get the paperback so you make the New York Times bestseller. Because lots of people, like tens of thousands, already bought the hardback. So get the paperback, it's cheaper. And this one has quotes on the front that were on the back. And, you know, sometimes, and I'm talking about the cover first, but sometimes people are like, what, Will Smith? Like the actor and Drew Weissman who won the Nobel Prize? Like, how does that even happen? That's a whole other story, and I don't have 25 minutes, is not enough time to talk about that. But why I wrote the book is somewhere a reporter, a journalist from the Philadelphia Magazine said to me, what would make you think in the middle of the world's worst pandemic that you could save the world? And I said, you have to know my story. Like, it definitely did not start with COVID, right? It started with that coming up out of Philly, you know, going to Penn State, having work study, because how I paid for my education was with loans and working in the library and doing odd jobs so I could pay tuition. And then going to medical school, and I went to Penn State for medical school in Hershey. And what that was like, back then, there were 10 of us that were Black students, 10 of us. And we studied together, we ate together, we did everything together. That was our core. Some of us didn't make it, and there were only 10 of us to start. What it was like when you said, I want to be a surgeon, and people sort of looked at you like, really? Like, that's not happening, so you can tell the lack of belief in the statement that you're making, but you having that belief in yourself. And then pediatric surgery, when I trained, there were only 25 spots in the United States that they were training pediatric surgeons. And when I finished, I was the first Black woman to have trained entirely in the United States in pediatric surgery. And so there were two of us, Dr. R.E.A.L, who is currently the Dean of the School of Medicine at Howard, and myself. And her name's Andrea, and I'm Ayla, and people were always like, "Hi, Andrea, nice to see you." And I was like, I'm Ayla. There were only literally two of us in the world. And I think back on that sometimes being the first is hard. Whether it's the first to go to college, the first to go to an Ivy, the first to become a doctor, or the first to travel outside of your state, your country, and achieve something great. And with that is an added burden and responsibility. But the joy you give to so many, and the joy you give to yourself, is nothing you can put a value on. So I had to talk about the adversity and challenges in medical school. And in residency, and I'll tell you this, and most people will also share this, the higher you go up, the tougher it gets. Because it's rare air up there. And there are often not a lot of people who look like you there. So when you come into those spaces and people see you, it's like, well, how does she get there? And that's where all this gaslighting and imposter syndrome comes in. And now all of a sudden, you're starting to doubt yourself. You who have worked hard, you who people have invested in, you who always figured out the way, even when it was challenging and you were struggling with a subject, now you're questioning, do I deserve to be here? So all those things I put in the book. And then one of the biggest, I would say one of my biggest challenges was certainly training to be a pediatric surgeon. And how many people really, aggressively try to prevent that from happening. And I put it in the book, and all those people are still living, every single one of them. They have since invited me back to different rounds at their institutions. They have told me how they got it all wrong, which is a good thing, because that's an opportunity for a teachable moment to say, we should not have treated you the way we treated you. But again, how many of me's are out there that didn't get an opportunity to put it in a book and to do things that touched hundreds of thousands of people? And so I say that to say, not to get caught in the, am I good enough vortex, because it can happen, and just reach out when you start to feel it. What I do is I objectively start to write things down. Like when I get in my head, I just start writing. Someone said to me once, this was just last month, I gave a talk, invited a professor, everyone's clapping, thank you, this was so great. This person literally leapt up to the stage and said, I was offended by your comments. Who do you think you are? Now I'm an invited professor. I'm like, well, damn, y'all asked me, right? And he was just incensed, partly because of the current climate, right? And he was like this in my face, and I had to pause, and I listened, and eventually someone got him away from me, like literally I needed security, but I sat down and I wrote down everything in the moment that I had said to see. Was it contradictory? Was it objective? Was it fact-based? Was it my opinion? Was it a narrative? And immediately I wrote down my responses, and no, he was wrong. He was wrong. And it's a question of some people are insecure by your confidence. And that is something that, especially in this room, with this group of young people, that you all will contend with. And just be ready, so you're not shocked when it happens. Okay, that was not part of the presentation. Okay, so what is imposter syndrome? You know, I'm just saying to you, it's a lie. It's a lie, period, full stop. And I already answered the next slide, how I get to the am I. First of all, for you to be accepted at this university, just know that it was not because they needed more Black people at Penn, that they needed more people of color, that they needed more people from Africa. that they needed more people from New Jersey, from New York, from below the poverty line for you to be here. So if any of you are thinking that, erase it from your mind. Full stop, especially in 2025. Now I can tell you when I got into Penn State, it most definitely was because I was broke and poor. I'm not going to tell you it wasn't. And that I was a black girl from the village. But I can tell you this, it may have opened the door, but it didn't keep the door open. It didn't make me earn those grades. It didn't allow me to score what I scored on my MCAT. It didn't allow me to sit before the American Board of Surgery and General Surgery and Pediatric Surgery and pass. None of those things, by allowing me in, what it provided was an opportunity. And what I did with that was up to me and my aptitude and my perseverance. So, imposter syndrome is a lie. Let's say it out together. Ready? Imposter syndrome is a lie. Okay? And I'm letting you know. And for what it's worth, some of the students that I teach in School of Arts and Sciences, white, black, Asian, Indian, poor, rich, rural, urban, they all feel it. This is not unique to black students, but I will tell you, it's not unique to anyone, but it's very specific for many of you who are high achievers. Okay? So just be ready, and you won't be shocked by it. Start objectively writing down whatever it is that someone said you are not. Adversity is training. So some of these hard knocks, these barriers, the obstacles I talked about in my book, at the time it was like, my goodness, how am I going to get through it? But when COVID hit, and these things were happening in my hometown in Philadelphia, I literally had no fear. Sometimes I look back, like even all those pictures we had up, some of that stuff I don't even remember being there. But so many things in college, in medical school, in residency, when I was in the lab, and in fellowship, those rules that I learned, I'll even call them rules of engagement and interacting with different people from different backgrounds that did not believe I deserved to be there, and for that matter, those who supported me, prepared me for what happened during COVID. What I became was a liaison, because I was grassroots, I was in the community, in the places where no one wanted to go. But then I would go home and decontaminate and change my clothes, and now I'm sitting at the table with the Board of Health. And now I'm sitting with the state and federal representatives making policy decisions about health and human services. And what was unique about that is I was powered, right? I was the same message that people were screaming from corners saying, I need resources. I need a place to stay. When one person has COVID and you're saying, oh, stay in another room, go to a hotel, no one has money for that, right? So I was the voice that people could understand because I knew how to be rooted in the community and let people teach me what they needed, educate me about what they needed, and then present it in such a way that people understood what to do next. And so the adversity, it's not, you will find sometimes that the more hard knocks you have, the more prepared you are for life. And that's what I definitely do. I'm not saying I would wish all the things that I would from other people, but I am saying it gives you, people say, I think it was Nietzsche, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And again, I'm not saying that's the way life has to be, because my children, I don't know what they've experienced. I feel like they have been so sheltered by so much that I don't know where some of the perseverance will come from. Sometimes it's harder to teach that when you haven't had challenges. So we are a work in progress in that space. Protect your peace. How I do that, this was about 2 weeks ago in Martha's Vineyard, and I was just sitting in Oak Bluffs, probably about 6 or 7 in the morning, and I was about to do this and do that, and I just sat for a minute, right? And you gotta sometimes unplug, turn off for everyone. right? Read a book, get lost in some music, put your headphones in, go for a walk. Something that you, and for some of you, you may have to actually schedule it in your day. Sometimes I come into my office and as soon as I come in, everyone has multiple things to talk to me about. And I say, at 9, you can tell me what you need. At noon, you can tell me what you need. And at 3 o'clock, you can tell me what you need. In between those times, unless it's urgent about my kids, my parents, or my husband, do not knock on my door. You have to sometimes protect your peace when you need to do that. And you may need to do that with your roommates, whoever your roommate might be. So just, that's where you have an opportunity to just reflect on things that are happening, what you're feeling. For me, it's a time to be creative and think about my next steps professionally and personally. And you gotta have boundaries because you'll be doing everything for everybody. And that's just a note for self-care. The other thing I would say about that, and I said this to my freshman students, is, and you may even learn this in the week that you have, find out where the health center is, find out where you may need to get prescriptions filled, where you may need therapy or to talk to someone before you need it, right? And you guys are gonna be like, I don't need that, I have someone at home I talk to, I always talk to my sister, I talk to my mom, or whichever. I would encourage you to find out where it is, and you guys might not have refrigerators to put a manual on, but have it on the notes on your phone, or have it somewhere that if and when you need it, you don't have to search for that phone number, that you easily have access to, okay? Don't wait to leave. When, and again, you guys read this, but I just have to paint this picture for you. In March of 2020, gosh, 5 years ago, see, I was like 13, okay? So you were finished 8th grade, maybe not into 9th grade. So I was going to work, seeing patients in my office, operating, seeing patients 3 days a week, operating 2 days a week, you know, kids were, so I was taking my kids to school, being a mom, taking vacations with my husband, things like that. And because I'm from Philly, people were calling me saying, A.L.I., do you think I could have this COVID? I had these symptoms, I went to my doctor and they sent me home. Or I went to the ER, they said I was sick enough and they sent me home. Or I didn't have a script, so they sent me home. And I would call my friends at Devon and Jefferson and Temple and Abington and say, are you really turning people away? You know, because their doc's not on staff and they're like, A.L.I., it's so busy. You just have no idea. We can't take in all these people if their docs aren't on staff. We can't be responsible for calling them back with their results. I'm like, okay. But are you really turning people away because they took a bus to get there? We can only test people in cars. Seriously? Okay. And are you really only testing the children but not testing the parents or the grandparents when they bring them in? Well, we don't have a protocol for adults. We can only test children. I'm like this is a public health emergency. And in that moment, I didn't have a title of professor. I wasn't a regional director in health and human services. I was mom, wife, pediatric surgeon. That's what I was doing. And finally, after calling a lot of people and getting all the reasons why they weren't doing it, just decided, well, all I need is a test, some PPE, and people who need to get tested. And I'm going to find that. And literally, that was it. And so the titles came after, the recruitment, even to work here, came after that. But I say that to you to say that sometimes you're the president, a vice president, a dean, assistant dean, a whomever, but sometimes you have the skill set and the capabilities to lead. It's not always because you have the title, and it's not always because the people elected you that gives you the wherewithal to be a good leader. And I'll just find your people. So, The people you're around will mold your thinking. They'll support you or not. I often say you're either team A-Lot or you're not. If you're not, then we don't have a lot to talk about. These are, I don't know if you can see the pointer, but these are some of my closest friends who are all surgeons. This is because everybody is a fan right now, don't they? And this is my family, my children, and everything on vacation. But those are the people that keep me grounded. Dream big, even when you're the first. And I talked about this sometime. Some of those folks that told me I wouldn't amount to anything certainly weren't outpacing the city of Philadelphia during the pandemic. They were probably sheltering in place, comfortable at their beach house. Most of them don't have Wikipedia pages, which I do, and are not, national experts, right? So I say that to say, where you start is not where you finish. These are some of the folks that have supported me, and you just have to find your tribe. And that's it. And if you all have questions, yes.
Stand up, that's so nice and loud. Your podcast too. I have a question about healthcare policy, because you did talk about how we would sit at tables with people from administration and talk about healthcare policies in the state. And I kind of wanted to know how you get introduced to that, especially since we're a pediatric surgeon. Just wanted to know how that also works.
Wow. So there is no playbook for that. One of my mentors will say to me, and still says, if you're doing your job, a job will always find you. If you're doing the work, right? And so when I was doing all the work during COVID, I didn't know that the Biden-Harris administration was watching me. And at one point, I went on X and I posted this video of people wrapped around our building, and I said, White House, where are you? And it was after that I literally got a call from the White House saying, what do you need? And I told them, I was very clear about what I needed. And it was after that I was appointed. So that is not the typical way, right? But I think certainly a public health degree helps. I think for me, what helped is I had proof in the concept because we were doing the work, and we were very intentional. And I don't want to say what we did was super novel. Everyone, I think, knows that in a public health emergency, you go to the people who are most vulnerable. You go to the people who need the help. Everyone was writing about that, and everyone knew it, but no one was doing it, right? Everyone was waiting and expecting someone else to do that. And I think, for me, I don't have a master's in public health, but I knew enough to know what you need to do if you're intentionally trying to help those who do not have. And so there are ways to do it. Certainly, Masters of Public Health, health policy, and doing internships with politicians that are on the health committees in Congress and the Senate are ways to do that. But that was my path, which was definitely a different one.
Thank you.
Well,
Stand up. Hi, I'm Alexis. Thank you so much for speaking with us. I am curious, could you talk more about your interactions with and how you may be supported by your community now and what that's like for you?
Okay, being supported by the community now? It's kind of interesting. I think it's more a symbiotic relationship, we support each other, I support them, they support me. They, and I'll just call Philadelphia a community, gave us sort of street cred, if you will, right? Objectively, we had the numbers on paper to see what we were doing was effective. But word of mouth is huge, right? So when folks were like, I'm not sure about this vaccine and all this kind of stuff, other people were like, you know how many funerals I've been to this week? It's real. And I went to that lady, and the needle wasn't that bad, and they were real nice to me. And they talked to me about my other medicines too, right? And so that word, that spread, was even greater than social media, It was greater than things that were published in the paper. It's the reason why in this city I can go anywhere and someone says, Dr. Stanford, you took care of my blah, 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 or you gave me my best, da, da, da. Or sometimes I'll go to check out and someone says, oh, someone already paid for you. And I don't know who that person is. And I believe that trust that says, I care about you, I see you, I know no one is coming, but I'm here. I don't want anything from you except to take care of you, goes a long way. And we need more of that in medicine, we need more of that in education, where it's take care of them like my own. Like the title of my book, it's just, to me, it seems so basic. It's like, if you want to know what someone needs, just take care of them like they're someone you love. And that's the answer. Oh, here.
Hello, my name is Fabiola, and I was just, when we see Black women strong, powerful, and inspiring, and I feel that you exude confidence, and I feel like I'm just asking if there were any times you were scared or scared of failing and letting down other people down.
So were there times when I was scared of failing and letting other people down? I don't think I was scared of letting them down. I don't think I was afraid of letting them down. I was pretty sure, and let me back up. When I was younger, I literally used to write A.L. Stanford MD over and over and over again. Like I would be like, hello, my name is Dr. Stanford. How can I help you today? Like I look in the mirror because I do believe that the power of your words and your thoughts and things will come to fruition. So, now you guys all have your phones, but it used to be like if you like the cute boy or something like that, you'd be like writing his name in different colors, and putting hearts around it and all these different things. But for me, I literally used to write my name. And so there might have been other people who thought I wasn't going to be a doctor, but I really never thought I was not. And maybe it was illusions of her, maybe I should, but I never really thought I wasn't. Certainly confidence, and I don't even call this imposter or gaslighting, but when you know there are people who don't want you to succeed, and this is mainly when I was a resident in surgery, it was tough coming to work every day, right? Because I wasn't around a community that was like happy to see you. Like everybody wants somebody to say, good morning, how you doing? How was your night? And instead it was like you walk in the building, people walk by you, no one spoke to you, you know what I mean? So I feel like I felt more of that. Like my prayer life and faith is strong. Like I pray on things, you know what I mean? Like I get in my zone and I'm like, God, give me the strength that I need. I know this, but I don't know that. Just help me get through this moment right here, right now. I know you didn't bring me this far to leave me. I know we got this, right? And whatever your something is to get that strength is what you have to do. It's different for everyone. And so, yeah, I think in politics, I was not as confident because that's not my space. My space is health and medicine and care. And so with that, but whenever I have that fear, I educate myself. Do you know what I mean? I teach myself everything, every policy, all the legislation, all the relationships. I talk to people because with knowledge comes confidence, right? And so if ever I felt like I wasn't, I just read and read and read until I got it.
One more question.
There's like 4 or 5 more questions. Okay.
Hi, my name is Sonika, and I'm really glad you were able to speak today. The question I have was mainly based off of the book. You did talk about some of the policies that were implemented to serve minority communities during that period of time. I'm wondering now with the removal of DEI and just an effort to decrease diversity in certain spaces, how do you think that has affected the healthcare field?
For me.
For you, or
Thank you for that. So, the beautiful thing about our work is we have been purely funded by the people, by contracts, meaning we perform a service and we get paid for the service we do, by philanthropy, by people who believe in the work that we're doing, and by claims. Like some people have health insurance, we build insurance, and we are operational. So we don't have any federal funding. It's why my building is called the Center for Health Equity, because it's mine. I don't have to follow the rules of the federal government. When high school students come through or undergraduate students come through and they need help, I help them prepare for MCATs, help them prepare and post-bac places so they can get in. And so for now, fortunately, a lot of the changes we've been unscathed because we weren't reliant upon them in the first place. We're not a federally qualified health center. And remember, this was born out of all of those things existing that weren't helping in the first place, which is why we came to be. So we are not going to okay. But I will say this for your friends and family and whomever who are Medicaid and Medicare, and I've been saying this everywhere. This is the time to get your 90-day prescription. This is the time to get your colonoscopy, to get your mammogram, to get whatever checkup you have been delaying now, because everyone is not sure where the cuts will come, right? And it's the time to have 4 appointments at 5 different places so that when the first time is available, you get it. Do you know what I mean? And so if people are not sure and they certainly receive any benefits from those places, it's the time to stop and get it, because in 2026, when some of these things come to fruition, it will definitely start to impact people from the Medicare, Medicaid, CMS side of things. Just know that. You guys are all going to change the world. You're going to be our doctors, our scientists, our lawyers, our policymakers. You are all going to change the world. Like, I honestly cannot wait to see what you do next. I'm already proud of you. And it's just, it fills my heart to see you here and what you're about to do and what you've already done. And thank you, Professor Charles. I mean, she invited me, I want to say November of last year, October of last year. And I'm so glad that we had this time to share. And when you see me on campus, say hi, okay? Say hi. And I will probably be teaching the freshman seminar. So sign up because it goes quick. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Stanford. I think the title of your book and the message that you gave to the students really is central to what we do here. It's funny, I forgot to say it yesterday to your parents because my kids are out of the house now, but my goal with this program has been for the last 19 years that what I want for all of you all is what I want for my own children, right? So that, we are a community and you are an extension of all of us. And what we want for you is what we would expect for our own children, because in a sense you are that for us. And so I think we couldn't have had anything better than the message that you gave today. And so I appreciate that because it also just reminded me to tell you all. And so if your parents are still worried, you can let them know that too, because I should have told them yesterday. So somebody is going to come up here now and give you your instructions for what comes next. I want to thank the faculty for being here this morning and for staying for lunch, and for everybody else on staff and in the administration across the school and the university. Thank you for being here. Students, you did a great job with your questions, so clearly some of you read before you got here. That's great. Thank you all. Lunch was lovely. Look forward to I will see you again on Wednesday. Good luck with the rest of your day and with your night tonight, because I know you're going to be busy. And is it Tia? Yeah, of course it's Tia, because Miss Tia is in charge. Here you go.
Thank you to Professor Charles. Thank you to Dr. McGlone. Thank you to Dr. Stanford. Thank you for everybody who decided to come today. We appreciate you. And students, your next assignment is to meet your graduate fellows in the lobby, downstairs, and to walk to your next workshop. Please don't leave your cupcake on the table if you didn't eat it. Take it with you, share it with someone who might want it, because I can't eat them. I shouldn't eat them, but whatever. Thank you again for coming. Have a wonderful